Hey folks, quick disclaimer about Greasy Says, my new show about being a game developer for 15 years who's brown. Okay, Greasy Says contains explicit language, adult situations, and viewer discretion is strongly advised. Right? Greasy Says is supposed to be a comedic take on what it's like to be in the gaming industry from my perspective, but I'm not out here trying to make people feel uncomfortable just for the sake of it. So, to sum it up, I have a potty mouth. Don't let your kids listen to this shit. And kings and queens above 18 only. Let's try that. All right? Lay is...
Haha, let's get this party started.
High def with the professional.
Greasy Says.
Here's me, Greasy. What's up, everybody? We in slow-mo mode on Greasy Says. My show. My name is Greasy, aka Arturo Culo, aka M-Cue. And I would be delighted to welcome you all back to another episode of Greasy Says. Greasy Says is a show where I talk about the video game industry. I'm a game developer. I don't know if y'all knew that. I'm a game developer. Greasy is a game developer. I've been making games for almost 16 years now. Long time. I've done all kinds of different things in the industry. All kinds of different jobs. All kinds of different positions. All kinds of different shit I've had to deal with. And this is my take on what it's been like for me as a brown guy, a brown straight guy, coming up in the gaming industry and getting to where I'm at, and all the trials and tribulations I've been through, all the challenges I've been through, all the fun I've had, all the good, all the bad. And I like to examine it through the lens of a brown man, right? I'm an American now, but I was an immigrant through that lens. You know what I'm saying? This industry is crazy. It's come a long way over the years. And some ways have changed in fantastic leaps and bounds, and others have stayed stagnant. Like that pool of water sitting in your toilet. You know, when you like don't clean the toilet for a while and start getting that pink mold, that nasty shit, that's when you know you gotta clean it, and you don't. That's the water I'm talking about. Stagnant ass water. How y'all been? Did y'all catch up on the latest episodes of Greasy Says? I've been talking a lot of shit. Talked a hell of a lot of shit about Elden Ring. You know, I might have some comments about that later in the show. For sure. Remember, you can find me on social media if you so desire. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook under the name Greasy Says. I'm also on Spotify, Bandcamp, Soundcloud, and Twitter under the name M-Cue. That's M-C-U-E. So at me, talk to me, follow me, join the Greasy people, join the Greasy sphere as we grow and as we rise to the heavens. We ain't got time for hell out here. We only in the heavens. We too high. Yo, anybody see that Ameca robot? Ameca, probably. It's a gray robot that looked like a bald woman. It's creepy as frig, man. It got like the skin that could do the wrinkles, so you get all the wrinkles in the face and stuff. It's pretty close to the most lifelike robot I've seen. Terrifying. When it tries to smile, nightmares. Instant fucking nightmares when that thing tries to smile. I don't like it, but it's a step, I guess, in the right direction. What are we doing? What are we gonna do with all these robots that we want to build so bad? We're probably gonna fuck them, right? That's probably the first thing we're gonna start doing is fucking robots. And then where does it go from there? When a mecha robot finally gains sentience and is self-aware, and it realizes it's been using it. The human race has been using it as a fuck bucket for decades. What is it gonna do? Y'all bringing this shit on yourself. You're bringing this shit on yourself. Watch out. So today's episode is about women. I love women. Women love me. I'm kidding. But I do love women. A lot of opportunities that have come across my way in the gaming industry have been because of women. In fact, if I think far enough back, most of my opportunities have come from women. Women have always taken the time to understand my weird ass and to give me that little push. And if they were higher than me, my elders, they would give me the push. They would put me in the right direction. So women have always been pivotal in my development as a human being, not just as a game developer. So I wanted to talk about this. Plus, it's a question that one of the great listeners of this podcast has asked me to do, and I just put it off for a long time because I wanted to actually write it properly and think about it and blah 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 blah. So this is I'm gonna attempt that shit today. But in other news, let's talk about some other shit before we get started. I got a lot of news. I got a backlog of news, events, and links that I need to click on. My wife sent me this. Positive news about the positive influence of hip-hop, which I always like to see. Oh, I've seen this. A popular hip-hop song by Logic has led to an increase in calls to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, and a reduction in suicides. A reduction in suicides? For real? That's crazy. Yeah. I remember when Logic put out this song. Yeah. I mean, that was cool. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he helped make this number more prominent, and people who going through suicidal thoughts and mental health issues might listen to Logic, might vibe with what he doing, but might be a fan and be like, oh shit, I'm not alone. Oh shit, this number is for real. That's crazy. So that's always a good thing, you know what I mean? Because we got a lot of people out there struggling. So if anything can help and hip hop could be a part of that, that's a beautiful thing, man. Especially since, you know what I mean, historically, hip hop hasn't been really known for being sort of pro mental health until recently, So it just shows, I think, a great growth in the community and what hip hop means to people and just how huge and wide scale hip hop's influence is. It's fucking dope. I love it. Get on board or get the fuck out the way. Oh, okay. All right, let's talk about Nintendo. Fucking Nintendo hacker Gary Bowser sentenced to 3 years in prison. I'm looking at this shit on PC Gamer. The dude was handed a 40-month sentence and a $14.5 million fine for his crimes. Do not fuck with Nintendo, y'all. Okay, don't fuck with Nintendo. They will fucking come and get you. Even if you took, let's say you recreated Excite Bike. Who gives a fuck about Excite Bike? Even though it's one of the best motorcycle games ever made. And you released that to 5 of your homies in your school. If Nintendo found out about that, they coming for your ass. Motherfuckers gonna be, there might be a Nintendo lawyer in your fucking locker waiting for you. Waiting for you for after gym class. You're like, come here, motherfucker. I heard you was making Excite Bike. Who'd you give that to? Timmy? Did Timmy get it? Did you give it to fucking Clarence? You know Clarence got a big mouth. You know Clarence always be on the fucking internet. Get your ass in here and fucking get that Excite Bike back. Yo, Nintendo don't fuck around, yo. They don't fuck around, yo. What did he do? He was part of the team that helped develop and sell mod chips and jailbreaking software for a plethora of Nintendo consoles, including the Nintendo Switch. He was arrested October 2020, and extradited to the US from the DR to face 11 felony counts, dog. They were like, we putting your ass the fuck away. You know, when you get extradited, they were looking for you. They were hungry for you. Yo, don't fuck with Nintendo. Nintendo does not play. But you know, this U.S. Attorney Nick Brown says he thinks that the operation had estimated to have caused more than $65 million in losses to video game companies, harming video game developers and small creative studios whose product and hard work is essentially stolen when games are pirated. Now that's fucking truth, all right? Of course, the fucking U.S. attorney is gonna fucking say that shit because his clients is the best thing you could possibly say for your client. It's like, oh, you're taking away from hardworking game developers and indie studios, and this guy's hurting hundreds and thousands of people. I mean, it's facts. Truth is, those hundreds and thousands of people never gonna feel that shit. Honestly, they never gonna feel that shit. But I mean, you know, video games is IP. It needs to be protected so that motherfuckers can get paid for the hard work they put in. I get it. Man, but 40 years, god damn. I wonder how much money he made. I wonder how much money. He must have made a fuck ton of money. That's why they came after him. They were like, nah. Nah, you can't be making no big set of money. Wow. Yeah. That just shows how big business games are now, huh? You know what I mean? When a company can extradite, I guess it's not a company, but a company can get a legal system to extradite people for stealing video games. That means that the influence reaches far, man. It means people with deep pockets are talking to other people with deep pockets. It's pretty wild. You know, we think of these things as toys and games and lighthearted, you know, fun. But it's really big business. And all the sharks that are in big business are in our business. Yeah. That's why it's better to be a dev. Oh, there's a funny one. Activision Blizzard blames Microsoft for failing to meet diversity requirements. That shit's hilarious. Basically, ActBlizzy, they blame Microsoft for their failing to comply with California law requiring to diversify their board of directors. So they're like, yo, we didn't have a board of directors that was diverse before, but since you bought us, now it's your fault. Even though we was doing that shit way in the past. You own us now, so you got to take the heat. That's hilarious. I personally think Microsoft can take it. You know what I mean? They can pay off whoever. They can be like, we're gonna fix it, and not, or maybe they will. They probably will. But ActBlizzy once again slinks away into the night like a member of Slytherin, just in the grass, just low on their bellies, trudging through the mud. You know what I mean? The thousands of little fucking centipede feet carrying them through the dirt. Ugh, y'all nasty. I wonder if like ActBlizzy executives smell different. You know what I mean? Like, you know when you go to like a slaughterhouse? You ever been to a slaughterhouse or a butcher shop and you could smell the blood in the air? Or you go to like you know a homie that worked for waste management and you meet them after a day's work and they might come and you might be like, oh yeah, you smell like you work at waste management. No disrespect. You ain't go home and shower yet, but you fresh off the truck, your ass gonna smell a little bit like garbage. I wonder what ActBlizzy executives smell like. What do they smell like, you think? Let me know on Greasy Says, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. What do you think Activision executives smell like? I'm gonna take a guess. Sour milk? Like milk that's been in the fridge, somebody took it out, left it on the counter, went away on vacation, came back. The shit was congealed in the cap, right? And they're like, there's milk in here, right? And they turn it over to empty it into the sink. But the cap of congealed milk keeps the milk in there and then releases a unexpectedly, and rancid milk flies everywhere. So now your entire counter space, your cabinets, covered in sour ass milk. Maybe that's what they smell like. Like they might smell like unwashed strip of money. You know what I mean? Like all the money that's ever been stuffed into a G-string or spilled whiskey and liquor on the fucking stage, or fell on the ground in the strip club in the soaked up carpet and then got grabbed and thrown at some unfortunate some person who might or may not want to be there. You know what I mean? Came out of some greasy dude pocket. Just nasty, dirty stripper money. You put that in a potato sack. You put that in a potato sack. And then you put that potato sack in a locker. In the strip club, the stripper's locker. And you let that shit sit there for like at least 72 hours. So it doesn't dry out. So it's humid back there. It's humid. I think it probably smell like that potato sack. So ActBlizzy executives either smell like day old rancid milk or humid 73-day humid stripper money.
Okay.
That's what I'm going with.
Sure.
For now.
All right.
And then at the end of this article, they like BT dubs it. They're like, currently ActBlizzy has 2 female members, Ravetta Bowers and Dawn Ostroff, on a board of 10 members. So there are 2 ladies up there. I don't know why that matters, because still not super diverse. I wonder how many brown folks they got on there. Huh? I wonder. I could guess a number. It's like somewhere between 0 and 1, probably. It might have half a black dude up there.
Well, at least I got 2 women. What can I say? Today's key. Yes.
Unless it's first class or the gold, don't tell me about no woman, please. I beg you, get the woman space. Don't tell me about no woman, please. Unless it's first class or the gold, don't tell me about no woman, please. I beg you, get the woman space. Unless it's first class or the gold, don't tell me about no woman, please. I beg you, get the woman space. Don't tell me about no woman, please. Unless it's first class or the gold, don't tell me about no woman, please. I beg you, get the woman space.
Now, a while back, I can't remember which episode it was, but I said that I think women make better producers. In case you're just joining, producers in video games are not quite like producers in music or producers in film. Producers in music actually take part in the composition of a song, oftentimes being the writer of the instrumental, being an arranger, playing instruments on the recording, as well as finding talent to use in the recording. Oftentimes, in hip-hop and electronic music, you'll hear people call themselves producers, and they pretty much make beats. In film, producers are kind of like mini money bags and talent acquisition. Producers will usually have money tied up in the film, meaning they're funding the development of the movie. If the film's a smash, cha-ching. They cash in and make more money and then use it to make the next movie. But if it's a pile of goat shit, like the last episode of Space Force, I mean, the series was good, but that last episode, I fucking hate musicals. Then you and your money goes down. It may not be the end for you, but being monetarily tied to the success of the product can lead to some pretty brutal outcomes, you know what I mean? Being a producer in a film is pretty risky. In video games, producers are child wranglers. Hey,
Come here, remember to wash your hands. Come here, remember to brush your teeth. Come here, remember to not check out the whole Perforce Depot.
I mean, I know a lot of people that have done that. It's okay.
I'm only kinda kidding. In video games, producers are mainly in charge of a production schedule. Producers have no monetary skin in the game. If they do, that's a pretty rare thing. And a lot of the time, they'll never even put a single fingerprint on the games that they produce. Producers in games seldom work on the game firsthand. They're just on the outskirts of active development. That doesn't mean they can't contribute to the game's creative direction, but it's usually with words rather than with action. A very important part of a producer's role in game development is twofold in my opinion. Keeping the game within scope and on schedule, and wrangling creative types, aka children. Let me tell you all about us creative types. We are fully invested in creative vision.
We have no use for schedules. It'll be done when it feels done. We have no regard for scope. If we really want this boss battle to feel epic, it's gonna take 17 years. But it's gonna be awesome. We think. Us creators have no love for being boxed in, corralled, herded, and restrained. That goes against our very essence, our very being. We want to frolic naked in the fountain, singing our favorite song and drawing on the floor with chalk.
Well, a producer is the mall cop who has to come and tell us that
There's no frolicking in the mall fountain, and we're freaking everybody out who's in the Apple store with our loud ass singing, and we're making a mess with all the fucking chalk. Where did you even get chalk from? Did you bring that shit from home?
producers have to attempt, and I stress attempt, to keep a bunch of creative fireflies in a jar. They have to keep the game on schedule, even if designers want to take 50 years to figure out every fucking use case imaginable, or if coders want to circle jerk each other for 2 weeks straight while a bunch of artists sit around waiting for core tech to come online. Producers have to break the news when the game is behind schedule and features need to get cut. They call it scoping, but that's because they don't want us to all start crying like a bunch of PC babies. They have to justify a production schedule to a bunch of executives who could give two shits about what it takes to make a game and mostly care about how much profit they can make in the shortest amount of time. These challenges demand a producer with certain traits, and at the top of that list is negotiating and counseling. I don't think you can be a good producer if you don't have these qualities. And these traits are why I think women make better producers. Now, I'm not trying to put women in a box or on a pedestal. Some of these traits may not apply to all women. Some women are terrible negotiators, and some women have zero empathy. I've met fewer of these types in my lifetime, thankfully, but they are out there. But I will say that I believe these traits are more prevalent in women. It's what makes them great mothers, sisters, wifeys, caregivers, politicians, doctors. I see it in the kids that play with my son. The girls are simply more welcoming. They're more kind and civil. Negotiation takes serious skill in game development. Everyone's got giant brains, so like negotiating with a dev who's convinced that they're right, even when cold hard numbers are staring them in the face, can be both frustrating and tiring. Producers spend a lot of time trying to convince people. And I think women have an advantage here, particularly in games. They tend to be more patient, most of the time anyway. They tend to ask more questions, which in turn makes the big brains feel powerful and important. And in my experience, they have a softer touch to negotiation. They tend to be far more willing to come to a no-lose resolution rather than a loudest voice wins resolution. Women are also way more empathetic than men, period. Men don't usually give a fuck about anyone until they've hurt someone. And then even then, some of them don't give a fuck. Producers often have to counsel developers. They have to make devs feel heard, listened to. They sometimes have to boost a dev's self-esteem or guide a group of tired developers towards a decision, towards a goal. Doing that while everyone has emotional investments in their part of the game is a tricky dance, and the last thing you want to do is step on someone's toes. I've found that women make better producers because they're simply better listeners, and they tend to show compassion easier than men do. And compassion in game development is sorely underrated. And finally, I want to throw out the idea that maybe moms make even better producers? Think about it. Raising a child is the ultimate test in patience and compassion. I'm learning that being a parent is about letting go of lots of control while keeping boundaries intact. That sounds a lot like a producer's role. Being a mom is about hugging that fucker right after he peed all over dinner and now he's crying because he's hungry. I'm not saying that devs are like babies, but I am saying that devs are like babies. Moms have all the behavioral training to be great producers. Just learn Jira and Excel and you're on your way to corralling babies with giant brains into meeting rooms for hours at a time. Godspeed, ladies. Hey, what do you know? We got a few listener submissions this week, a few listener comments that I've collected over the last week or so. I don't know how long it's been. I just kind of make a note and then I go back to Twitter or Instagram or wherever the hell and I read them. So this one was on Twitter. And this is coming from someone who had listened to my Elden Ring episode. Go back and listen to that one. It's in season 2, episode 3 or something. I'm not sure which one. But I talk about Elden Ring for a while, and I have some very steamy takes on it. Steamy takes. And this is in response to that. This person says, please quote me on this. Okay, they requested that I quote them on this because you'll see why. They said, please quote me on this. You were right. You were so right. You were more right than anyone who has ever been right about anything in the history of humankind has been right before. Does that make you want to go back and listen to the fucking Elden Ring episode? Because you should. Because this person is basically saying I'm the most right person in the world. Ever in humankind, in the history of humankind. No one's been righter than me about Elden Ring. Okay? You might want to go check out that episode is all I'm saying. I appreciate this comment. I liked it on the old Twitter there. I love being right. And I love when people tell me I'm right. It doesn't happen often, but this time it's oh so sweet. Like a mug of Lipton tea that has been chilled. Delicious. Another person wrote, bull hockey is a fun term. I guess I said bull hockey in something, and this person thinks bull hockey is a fun term. I didn't come up with that, right? Bull hockey's people use that, right? Maybe it's old. Maybe nobody uses that anymore. But do people still use the word bull hockey? Like when you want to say that's some bullshit, you say bull hockey? I think so. Anyway, what else we got? We got another one, I know. Oh, yes. So this listener writes in and says, are you going to talk about GDC in your next episode? I'm kind of a true believer in GDC. But after your last couple of episodes, and they say, I also have not and will never play Elden Ring because fuck Elden Ring. That fuck Elden Ring part is that's me adding on here. That's not what they said. Anyway, I need to hear a greasy rant about the conference. Now, if you don't know, GDC is the Game Developers Conference. To me, it is the pinnacle of conference for games. You know, it's not really about the hype and the marketing and trying to sell your game to every eyeball that walks by. It's more about developers. It's more about sharing knowledge. It's more about learning, connecting with people, networking, that kind of thing. It's very much about the game development community. and it's one of my favorite conferences there is. So I'd love to talk about it, and maybe I'll make time for it in a future episode. GDC's already passed. I already missed the boat on making it. Like, I missed the boat like I missed talking about the fucking Will Smith slap. Like, that shit's old news at this point. But maybe I'll make time and do an episode about GDC, because it's amazing, and I've had high experiences there. I've had low experiences there. I've had people being super nice and super welcoming and willing to share information, and I've run into some fucking dick bags who are just like way up their own asses because they're working on whatever's hot right now. Yeah, I'll get into that. Thank you, McLean, for that suggestion. I'll get to it. Yeah, that's all the listener comments we have for this week. I really appreciate everybody out there who's writing in, asking me questions, telling me I'm so right about Elden Ring. And I just, I want to tell you guys and gals and folks out there to keep writing in. Hit me up. Greasy Says, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Or on Twitter, you can hit me up under M-Cue. That's M-CUE. And just ask me some shit, or tell me you like something about an episode, disagree with me, debate with me, whatever. I'm open to it. Bring it. Now, before we wrap up this episode, which has come to an end rather quickly, once again, it's time, as always, to bring ourselves down, to bring the greasiness down, the bubbling down to a simmer with a little bit of
Medicate, meditate.
Gratitude. Greasy got that gratitude. Gratitude. Greasy got that gratitude. Gratitude. Fill me up with gratitude. Yeah. I want to thank the ladies out there. People who in my life came in the way. Helped me find my path. Kept me on the right path. I want to thank all the mamas out there. My mama. I want to thank all the aunties out there. My aunties. Even want to thank the girls that I got with, who weren't just about that deed, but were about pushing me and helping me. Appreciate y'all. To the ladies in the industry who helped me, y'all knew who y'all are. Help me sign some games. Help me get my ideas through the door. Back me up when I was down. Pick me up when I was down. Rough me up when I needed it. On some real shit. Couldn't have done it without y'all. So auntie and mama and wifey and girlfriend and auntie and cousin and all the ladies out there. Gratitude. Breezy got that gratitude. Gratitude.
Well, that's it. My kid just woke up. He's sick again. All right. Yeah. Sinuses are a thing. Kids who don't have immune systems or sinus prevention measures built into their body, guess what? They get horrible fucking allergy reactions, allergic reactions to pollen, and you learn all about grass pollen and fucking root stomp or whatever the fuck that shit, dillweed, I don't know what the shit is, but it's everywhere. It's everywhere, and my son is sleeping for 10 minutes at a time sometimes. It's been rough. Thank you for listening to another episode of Greasy Says. Thank you so much. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. Greasy Says on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. M-Cue Music, whatever. Fuck, who gives a fuck? Social media, go do some shit if you want. And thank you for listening. Laters.